It's a great morning. Thank you everyone for joining us here on Global Morning on Global Television. I am Muya Agmofube saying we're grateful knowing that you're starting your business week, or as they call it, your working week, with us here on the program. I am joined by the new Monday lady, as I like to call her today.
Morning.
Yeah, she is Priscilla Obasi. I have to take that slowly because of the Priscilla part of it. You know, there are people who call you Priscilla.
Yeah.
You are used to that now, right?
Yeah, it's actually Priscilla.
Priscilla, right?
I think we have different variants. I don't know.
Okay, your variant is Priscilla. I'll try to look for Priscilla. I didn't see the other I.
Well, I don't know where they get that from.
Yeah, sure.
Priscilla is
Maybe we are trying to revariance the name for you.
Maybe the Nigerian pronunciation.
It's very possible. Like, you can't blame us. All right. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Same here.
Hope you had a great weekend.
Of course.
Yeah, you look like somebody who works in the legal space, like a lawyer.
This morning, right?
Yeah. And you know the NBA conference just ended, so it looks like you brought the Enugu energy into the program.
Wow, why Enugu?
Because that's when they had their last conference. Yeah, of course, a lot of stories are coming out from that conference. By the way, the Deji Adeyanju story and all of that. Well, what can we say? Yes, let's not drag Priscilla, not Priscilla, into the Enugu conference and all of the drama that we saw. Deji Adeyanju, Dino Melaye, and the other ones. But see, okay, so first of all, for our viewers who may not have followed the drama, as I like to call it, there had been the arguments or the conversation around how that, Senator Dino Melaye is a baby lawyer, quote unquote. That's what they call them. Or you're a young lawyer, your older colleagues, your learned seniors, they say you're a baby lawyer. It depends on the context, but sometimes that comes off as being condescending or a bit humiliating, that sort of thing for the person so referred. There's that one. Then there's the issue of the Jade, and you say, well, for a young lawyer who just got called into a few years ago, how do you give him that sort of prominence, like a front row seat as such a pivotal event of the best lawyers? I mean, the Nigerian Bar Association is the biggest bar in Africa, the biggest black bar in the world, and blah 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 blah. I've not seen reactions from both gentlemen, I mean DG and Dino, just yet, but it has sparked conversations, because there are people who say that, look, once you're a lawyer. Whether Priscilla Obasi has been at the bar for 35 years and Muya Agmofube has been there for only 30 days, the important thing ultimately is that both of them have been called to the Nigerian bar, and they are now been licensed to practice law. So the idea of trying to say, well, Priscilla has done over 3 decades, we has not even done 2 months, it's immaterial. I mean, I know a lawyer, but from the little you know, you are unlearned as I am unlearned. But let's talk about those learned people for a second.
Well, my opinion, I think Nigerians can just be very funny when they see that you are trying to be, I don't want to say successful, but then it is what I'm trying to, say. So people have called him social media lawyer based on the fact that he has been attached to very dark man for a long time.
Right.
So a lot of people, he's in that controversial space, and I think he has earned it. I think he has
Which of the...
That's Deji.
Deji,
yes,
okay.
Deji Adeyanju. He has earned it for him to, to have, had the back of very dark man up till this time. I think I heard they have something fishy going on amongst them. They are not in good terms. Again, as at this point, allegedly. But then for him to have stood behind, in front, besides VDM, up till when we knew, he has given him to a very large extent. I think Deji Adeyanju has contributed to the success of Very Dark Man. We all know who Very Dark Man is right now in Nigeria.
So he has become a brand.
He has become a brand, and a lot of people want to associate. They have, they give him his flowers. He has done well. They feel like he's doing great. He's fighting for Nigerians, and
he's an activist.
He's an activist.
That's how they say.
He doesn't like to call himself an activist, but Nigerians have, they have come to accept the fact that VDM is a name, and he has done a lot, and we cannot take the fact that Deji has, contributed to this success of very dark man. So if he is given such position, I think he has earned it. Yeah.
You know, the thing is, lawyers think differently. So there's this elderly man whose video has also gone viral a bit now, and he says he has been at the bar for upwards of 4 decades. Now, it means that he has practiced law for over 40 years. And he talked about how that in the legal profession, amongst other very important elements, one of the things is respect for seniors. There must be honor. He talked about how that many years ago, as a very young lawyer, just trying to find his foot in the profession, he was in court one day, and then he sat at the edge of a long bench. So a senior lawyer is coming into court, and that senior lawyer wanted him to move over so he could now sit at the edge of the bench. That he didn't move an inch. And then the senior lawyer didn't do anything. He just peacefully and quietly walked away, got a seat elsewhere and all of that. That it took him a long time, maybe, who knows, benefit of hindsight, to then realize that he goofed, that he should have actually moved over to allow that senior lawyer sit at the edge of the bench, because normally senior lawyers would move from one court to another, so that at least there'll be some bit of ease of exit and things like that.
But
so he was trying to say that these young lawyers of these days don't seem to understand that there are protocols to how lawyers carry themselves and things like that. Like you said, we now see lawyers who are being referred to as social media lawyers and things like that. But your narrative is, giving the impression that this is a bit of bad belly, as we call it.
Exactly. I think it's because he has not. If you want to bring in that context,
right?
Deji Adeoji, I don't think he has disrespected any lawyer. It's not a situation of him disrespecting some senior.
But senior lawyers say, why was he in front?
Why was he given the opportunity to be in front? He has earned it.
So the question is, should he have turned it down?
Of course. Why should he have turned it down? I was on my own. Somebody comes to give me something. I have not disrespected you in any way. And I think he has earned it.
Right.
I think he has earned it. A long time ago, when Deji started with VDM, a lot of people felt he was not going anywhere.
Right.
He would have VDM would have court cases back to back, and then people would insinuate that at the end of the day he would lose. And then we see VDM. We don't know how many of those cases he has won, but so far we have not seen him humiliated in any way.
Being sent to jail.
Being sent to jail, exactly, with all those cases. So it tells you that his lawyer has been doing a good job, whether we like it or not, and I think he has earned it. I don't know whatever made them fall apart at this point, but so far Deji Adeoji has earned it. Well, Nigeria is still a place where culture is,
it's a factor.
It's a factor. So on that light, I think he, on his own part, should be very careful.
Right.
Yeah.
Because as it stands right now, he has, as it were, opened what does it call again? Pandora's box. Okay, let's take a quick break here at this point, everyone. So much to talk about on the program today. It's a great day, no doubt about that. And the whole time, we're going to be looking at very big conversations for you in the course of a global morning today. We're back shortly. Do stay with us, everyone. When President Bola Tinubu inaugurated a new board and management for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, that is the Nnpcl, some months ago, for many people, it was not just going to be the dawn of a new era, it was also going to mark the start of what was seen as, if you like, very aggressive and radical reforms to better position the oil company and indeed the sector in this country for opening new frontiers and doing bigger things for Nigerians. But it will appear that those reforms at some point hit a brick wall, given the narratives we're seeing coming out from the Nnpcl. Now, just to be clear, for the purpose of perspective, Bayo Ojulari had been appointed as the Group Chief Executive Officer, that is the GCEO, of the company, and that appeared to have been something that many people said was a welcome development, given that the company itself had also had its fair share of controversy about its books, its operations, leadership, and things like that. But just a few days ago, we saw how that some people who refer to themselves as Niger Delta youths had come to the Nnpc towers in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, to protest, demanding the removal of Mr. Ojulari as the group chief executive officer, and in its place demanding a replacement that has to come from the Niger Delta. Now, they hinge that argument on the fact that the bulk of the oil in this country comes from the Niger Delta, and as such, it's got to be such that whoever leads the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited should also come from that region of the country. So that has been quite a very topical conversation the last couple of days. This morning, to help further advance this discussion, we'll be joined by Are Oladoto Hassan. He's a lawyer as well as the convener, Nigeria Youth Coalition and Yoruba Council Worldwide. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Oladoto, for joining us this morning on the program.
Yes, good morning. It's a pleasure to be on your program. It's a great pleasure to be on your program.
Yeah, we share the pleasure with you. My colleague Priscilla Obasi and I will spend the next few minutes pushing this conversation with you. And now, if I had my way, I probably would want to talk to you about the just concluded NBA conference in Enugu, the drama around it. But I think we can put that aside for a minute. So we can talk about the leadership issue at the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Well, the Nnpcl has never really been, if you like, free from such issues around what region of the country the group managing director or the group chief executive officer is from. So this is not really something new. However, help our viewers understand what exactly is different, especially from the standpoint of this protest that we saw just last week.
Well, it's very important we understand that we're in a trying times, and there are a lot of things that are going on in the country, both politically and otherwise, and these issues are reaching that it requires a whole lot to galvanize the interest of our people together. So, and be that as it may, the issue around the Nnpc have been an issue of a recurrent decimal, and we all know that the new management of the Nnpc, headed by Bayo, is just a newly sworn in leadership, and aftermath of his swearing in, there have been a lot of back and forth in terms of the financial status of the Nnpc and the all of you. And to me, I think the new person coming in do have a little to say rather than the old person that have just been sacked, which is Nnpcl. Though both have duty of care, but we are all aware that the new leadership have disclosed the wastages that the Nnpc have been incurred for many years now, over 3 or 4 decades on now, that will be wasting no less than $500 to $300 million monthly. And to many, that has not been an issue that where is this money going to? Who are the beneficiaries of this money? Are the beneficiaries of this money behind the protestation calling for the removal of the Nnpc GMD after the disclosure? These are rhetorical questions that begs for an answer. And to me, I frown at such a protest, because there should be some level of negotiation. There should have been some level of statement before now in order to call the Nnpc's attention to their demands. So there have not been such. There have not been pre-action notice or either any written notices that have been served to lodge complaints. And if you are lodging complaints, that has to be based on well-researched findings. So to me, it is an opaque protest that is shrouded in secrecy of a lot of hidden agenda. And to many, for a Niger Delta region, and that's where my concerns are, that has a lot of benefit under this government, now clamoring to head Nnpc, to me is a journey taken too far. I believe that there is a lot of measures that can be taken, rather than demanding for an indigene of a Niger Delta to head Nnpc, when definitely an indigene of the Niger Delta is heading the NDDC at the moment. They are the head of service as far as the federation is concerned, and they equally hold several other positions. An indigene of Niger Delta is the Senate President of the country, so there is no marginalization or anything that is marginalization within the Niger Delta region as far as that call is concerned. So the Nigerian Youth Coalition, under my able leadership, have called all other critical stakeholders, including the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Leaders Council and the Ijaw Youth Council, and every other ethnic nationality or Eze-Ndigbo Youth Council, the Ogoni, the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, that is high time we rescue this nation from unblemished positioning, that we can be able to discuss constructively. Maybe with this disclosure, it is high time Nigerian youth rally round. Let's now take ownership of our national asset, and Nnpc is one of it that has been squandered, that have been embezzled, that have been battered for many years. And if a new leadership have given a disclosure, to me what the country needs now is not the removal of Ojulari, but rather in order to galvanize that institution, just like the Pengasi president just mentioned, that they are ready as a union to give Ojulari all the necessary support. If Pengasi union, who are well revered and they know what is going on within the oil and gas sector, the entire union can give a support. It is high time the Nigerian Youth Coalition come together and bring up a well-researched position that will solve the oil and gas sector problem and challenges. We have professionals amongst us, so there are need to constructively engage the Nnpc leadership. Once that is done, we can now begin to find solution to where is our subsidy money going to. What about the Dangote refinery and every other refinery? Even if we have to privatize it, to what benefit will the citizen now get from the oil and gas sector in terms of reduction in the petroleum pump price product from 600 naira to, let's have it at 100 naira per liter? At least during the Yuletide that we are going into, we need a relief as citizens of this country. Then the same money under the budget, we know we have the Petroleum Trust Fund that are used to ameliorate the education sector and so many other sectors, the health sector. There can also be a reviewed Petroleum Trust Fund that will have its funding to ameliorate the health sector, infrastructural sector, the education sector, so that it might not just be every student obtaining loan. There can still be grants from the Petroleum Trust Fund to students, so you can opt for grant or loan. So to me, I believe there is a lot of benefit to gain as far as this whole discussion is ongoing.
All right, I need to ask you this before Priscilla jumps in a minute, right? We are understanding, I mean, from all confirmed sources, that there had also been a bit of rivalry, if you like, call it tussle, amongst those who today constitutes the board of the Nnpcl, because they had also, for the most part, aspired to be the group chief executive of the Nnpcl. Is it not possible that vested interest, I mean, you are not a stranger to boarding politics, Oladoto, is it not possible that some of these personalities are bringing, so to speak, that hangover from the politics that preceded the emergence of Mr. Ojulari as the group chief executive officer into his time as the head of the company?
Well, let me make you understand. The oil and gas sector, the Nnpc, is one of the real beacon of politics in this country that people jostle for power. because they want to take charge of who is in charge of that sector. And regrettably, this is a sector that in fact, the last 3 administrations, from Obasanjo to the brief stay of Yar'Adua, even to the Jonathan era and the Buhari era, have culminated to the balkanization of that department of government in terms of lack of accountability, lack of genuine view to bring about solution. And this culmination of or aggregation of minds that believe that the Nnpc is just a cash cow or an ATM for them to get money and also squandered, are now rovering around, roaring like lions, thinking that if they have to call for protest, sponsor protest, bring down the institution, call for all manner of fighting and infighting in terms of using the National Assembly, the ethnic nationalities, sponsoring different groups to launch serial or series of attacks that will bring down the Nnpc leadership, and at the end of the day, it will be sacked. To me, that is the joke taken too far. Ojulari, to me, is a professional, and they should not equate it to any ethnic issue. At least he's from the North Central, which is Kwara State. Despite the fact that most Kwarans bear Yoruba name, doesn't mean that we should now read it on the issue of the ongoing Yorubanization. No, what we are currently having is somebody who is ready to lead, and the president, whom I know very well, and I can still vouch for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that for the first time we are having a sigh of relief of what really look like governance, if not for the wastages of many years that he met on ground, and to how things have been badly destroyed. It wouldn't be in this kind of circumstance. He met a Waterloo, he met a lot of landmines. So he's trying to bring in the foreign direct investment, promote power sector, ensure that our agri sector is given a life, ensure that our aviation sector is given a life. The oil and gas sector is equally given a real life, and you can see day in, day out, the pump price that is almost 1,000 before is now going down to 600. So almost every week there is a reduction. Despite the fact that there is a reduction, they have not been killed on the at the petrol station for scarcity. Sometimes before now, we have seen a lot of scarcity of fuel that is pre-planned, premeditated, in order to make the citizen pay with their nose. And these are fundamentals that I want to tell Nigerians, that let us give Ojulari a chance. Let's not be dissuaded by the protest. And we have written to him that beyond the call for his removal, let us, all of us, including the joint ethnic leaders and the Niger Delta ethnic leaders, to come together. Let us have an alternative dispute measure of conversation, so that we can resolve issues and not throw everything maybe the baby away. And there have not been a bad baby with a bad water. What we want is that the ongoing investigation now being opened up where on the Nnpcl should continue. The review of records, the investigation of records of Nnpc should be thrown open. So if EFCC want to investigate, let us have a public disclosure or an inquiry, that everything will be done in the open, so that we can be watching every day to what extent the damage has been done. But we know that the leadership of the current Nnpc should not be coerced at all, and nobody is above the entire Nigeria. Let us give Ojulari a chance to deliver. If he is capable of reviving the 4 refineries, let us see him come with blueprint. He has told us that we want to commercialize it rather than a refinery that they are spending $500 million monthly, and it's not generating any income, there is high time that those refinery be revived for commercial purpose through partnership based on the NLNG procedure, whereby we have an NLNG that is working every day without any complaint. So there may be those that have been on the ends of affairs are the ones that sponsor this protest, so that they will know that nothing will stop their milk cow that they are getting monthly. If people are sharing $500 million monthly, is that not a damage one way or the other, that the government is now taking ownership of that, owning up to it, and disclosing to the entire Nigeria? If it were to be the kind of system we are used to, the government would have kept quiet, do the same thing the way they met it, and continue on that same precedent. But they stopped that precedent of corruption, now trying to do the right thing. All we are seeing is attacks from the Arewa youth, attacks from the Joy youth, attacks from some moribund groups, telling the entire nation that let us sack Ojulari. To me, Ojulari is just a new management. You have not been able to disclose, but we as a group then, we raise concerns that under Nnpcl there have been a lot of fraudulent disclosures, billions of dollars whereby they have not been remitted to the central bank. For the first time, Nnpcl just started remitting money to the central bank under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Go and fact check what I'm saying. So, and this to me, that is where I expect the opposition to direct their attention. People like Peter Obi, people like Atiku Abubakar should join hands. Our opposition is not just about tackling. Sometimes when the government is doing the right thing, let all of us put mouth to it and ensure that that corruption is nailed to its coffin. So to me, it's high time Nigerians begin to see beyond our nose. We cannot always be at the heel of condemnation. Let us allow Ojulari to work. He is a competent professional who knows his onions, and it is not, his appointment is not done on mediocrity. So let the good people of Niger Delta, who has benefited more, I can boldly inform that the good people of Niger Delta under this administration have not been left wanting. In fact, they are also being of equal benefit to every other region. Even they benefited more in terms of appointment. Calling for a replacement of an indigene of Niger Delta, to me, is a joke taken too far.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I would like to ask, how can the success of these reforms be measured? I mean, what are the indicators to look out for?
Well, to me, the success can only be determined by time. And to me, I'm not always eager to condemn. But where we want to stand now is, let us be participatory. Let us have monthly assessment disclosure of reports, both audited financial report, activities report, day in, day out report, either through there should be a special program on oil and gas sector sponsored by Nnpcl. Maybe your program and TV house should write that this is high time in terms of what is going on. Nigerians have not been informed. We are aware of what is going on in the NDDC before now through some programs on the TV. If Nnpcl can get an hour, to me, 30 minutes might not be enough. An hour of detailed analysis of what is going on in the oil and gas sector, historically to date, and up-to-date information by the publicity unit of the Nnpcl and the GMD interview, regular interview of departmental heads, on the same time, to also know that all other agencies that are attached to the Nnpcl, both the upstream and the downstream sector, both the PPRA and every other sector of the Nnpcl, everybody is brought to book to give account on daily happenings, because Nnpcl is not just an ordinary organization. That is the mainstay, current mainstay of our economy. We have not yet diversified fully into agriculture. So the only determinant is time. And for all of us to be checkmating that is the daily disclosure through indicator program. Maybe they can tag a program Nnpc indicator, so that we will know, we can fact check the indicators every time, their progress. We can all measure their progress, so that by the time we are demanding for reduction in price of petroleum product, there will be a legitimate ground. We would have been convinced beyond reasonable doubt that our demand is real and genuine, so that nobody will be operating an Nnpc under the same opaque management that we have been through for over 6 decades. It's high time we see the monthly report, financial report of Nnpc. So our coming here this morning is not just to pat Nnpc in the back or stop the removal of Ojulari based on our own position. And our position is clear as the leadership of all ethnic nationalities in this country, as the leadership of various youth organizations. All we are telling our Nigerian youth is that these are not time for war. Let us go make our consultation in line with procedures of protestations. It is all of us. Let us consult. Let us have a tete with the leadership and management, so that we can all be part of what is going on there, so that Nnpc will not just be subjected to a caricature process of investigation, and at the end of the day, due to vested interest, they will now kill the investigation. No, based on this disclosure, we want to know the turnaround maintenance of the Nnpc that is gulping billions. To what extent have they been able to make our refineries functional? Then in terms of the Dangote refinery, Dangote should not be given the 100% determinant of our pricing, of our petroleum price. Dangote might not be doing us a favor by reducing the price. It's based on the world market price, and based on the amount of crude oil that is being sold to. So if our crude oil is sold to Dangote from Nigeria soil, our benefit should not be paying that exorbitant amount. What we are expecting is that let Dangote, he can sell to the international market at any determinate price, but for us in Nigeria, within the confines of this jurisdiction and territorial boundary of this country, we shouldn't be buying fuel not less than 70, 80 or 100 naira per liter at maximum. So to me, that should be the way out, so that once all this new refinery comes on board, and all other refineries that Boatu is going to do in Cross River, and we have a lot of multi-faceted refinery, just like we have in the telecommunication sector, there will be price competition, and Nigerians will be to the benefit of those glory days that are coming. Thank you. I can't hear you, sorry.
You can hear me now. Yeah, you hear me now, Hassan?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, great. So I was saying that sometime last year, one of your senior colleagues in the legal profession, Chief Folisa Agbakoba SAN, had advised the Nigerian government during a press conference to say, look, if you want the Nigerian oil and gas industry to work and deliver the best for the Nigerian people, one of the smartest things you can do is to adopt the Aramco or Saudi Arabia kind of model to run this industry. Now, add to that, President Tinubu just returned from his trip to Brazil. And one of the fallouts of that trip is that Brazil's Petrobras is returning to Nigeria. Now, my first question is, what can we learn from this? Aramco or Saudi Arabia, Brazil's Petrobras. The second is Ojulari, Bayo, the GCEO of Nnpcl, has alleged threats to his life. You are a lawyer. What are the implications of this?
Well, to me, I believe just like every great minds are disclosing to all of us, the best way to go is that same Aramco method, whereby you read what is going on from the point of drilling. to the point of sales of the crude oil, to the money that is being paid to the point of delivery. There is a monitoring, exclusive monitoring of that process. So what we are having in this country is that some people before now are used to the submission of just papers for subsidy collection, as disclosed by the Emir of Kano, Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, that people just bring out documents and they siphon money under the guise of petroleum subsidy that they believe are, and nothing was done in that regard. To me, that is fraud. So in order to really stop that, let us await with the new method that is ongoing now. There have been a lot of changes in the Nnpc. There is no doubt about that. But the changes will only be manifested when Nigerians are carried along. And to me, what I believe strongly is that the ongoing Aramco method can be achieved if we look deeply. If we look deeply to how best can we sanitize that whole oil and gas sector. In fact, I will call on Mr. President to remove his hand as a minister of petroleum, which to me there is a precedence of that from the Buhari era. There is no way a president can double seat as a minister of petroleum. He should have delegated that off his hand. There is a lot of duty, bigger responsibility that will now had Nnpc daily affairs. When Buhari was there, we had a mess up of him being the minister of petroleum, because summoning a minister of petroleum or either prosecuting a minister of petroleum, it will only be stopped by the immunity clause. So you cannot prosecute a sitting president. So, but you can prosecute a sitting minister if there is any wrongdoing. So, Mr. President, by virtue of what is ongoing now, in order for this reform to be fully sanitized, there is nothing should be added. Though there have been a lot of changes, that we have different ministers of petroleum, there is nothing disclosing that. But to many, they still, maybe because of the old experience of Buhari, people still feel the Ministry of Petroleum, because we have the Ministry of Petroleum, we have the Ministry of Oil and Gas. So there have been a lot of dualization of that ministry. But people still feel that the larger responsibility of what is going on in the Nnpc falls within the presidency, and there should be total separation, so that the Ministry of Petroleum, in fact, I want a scrapping of the Ministry of Petroleum, and let us revolve everything around Nnpc as an institution, because there is nothing a minister is doing around. All we need is the institution to work. So having a minister of petroleum, a minister of this, to me, I don't think that will solve the problem. But if everything is under the operation of Nnpc, it's not like we're having the CBN governor. You want to have a minister of CBN for the fact that we have a minister of finance. We cannot equally have a minister of FIRS. So these are institutions that deal solely on areas of interest of the economy. So to me, I don't think there is a necessity for us to add more to our pains, so that we don't have too many jobs for few hands. Let us have a one synchronized method of monitoring the oil and gas sector, just like as proposed that the Aramco method should be followed. I think, to me, I'm aligning myself with that too. But to what extent? Is it when our oil and gas, our petroleum and crude oil have been mortgaged to many international companies, whereby 10 years ahead of now, under the Mele Kyari era, there have been a lot of agreements. So all these agreements, we need to know, are we still under the yoke of this devilish agreement? So that Nigerians should know who to hold accountable. Whoever that is holding us to his jugular, is no time that people should take the oil and gas sector as their ethnic birthright. When something becomes a national asset, and we are now running a national country, a government, a federalist government, everything needs to revolve around the center, so that once there is a deal and we are all carried along, this disclosure can be totally monitored. Just as I've read this, the Aramco method is the best. Yeah. On the threat.
Just in 1 minute. Just in 1 minute. Yes, on the threat. Exactly. Address the issue of the threat.
Right. The time Ojulari write to the DSS, put up a petition. You don't make a threat on the pages of newspaper. Put it up as a petition for investigation to the IGP of the police and the DSS to investigate thoroughly and prosecute anyone found wanting of threatening his office or his staff, so that it will not just be another small screen to defend himself, but people will know that there are genuine threats, either maybe via text message or monitoring his car or children or anything that surrounds him. We want to know to what extent of those disclosures, so that the National Assembly, through the public petitions, can as well be monitoring such threats, so that let all Nigerians be totally carried along, and that will be the solution.
Well, I think that's how we sum it up on this conversation. We'd like to say a big thank you to Are Oladotu Hassan, a lawyer and convener, Nigeria Youth Coalition, as well as Yoruba Council Worldwide. Thank you again for coming to share your valuable thoughts with us on the program.
Thank you very much.